They cut Israel off. No jets, no spare parts, no allies. What happened next shocked the world. Under global embargo, Israel didn't surrender. It copied, rebuilt, and engineered its own fighter jets, turning betrayal into air superiority. This is the forbidden story they never wanted told. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. In the late 1960s, Israel faced a nightmare scenario. Overnight, its strongest military lifeline was severed. France, Israel's primary arms supplier, imposed a sudden and total weapons embargo. Fighter jets already paid for were frozen. Spare parts were blocked. Training pipelines collapsed. For a nation surrounded by hostile borders, this wasn't diplomacy, it was an existential threat. Israel's air force, once dominant, was suddenly grounded by politics. But instead of accepting defeat, Israeli leadership made a radical decision. If the world refused to sell them fighter jets, they would build their own. What followed was one of the most audacious military-industrial stories in modern history. Engineers, intelligence agencies, and defense planners worked in silence. Blueprints were reverse-engineered. Foreign technology was studied, adapted, and improved. This wasn't just survival, it was defiance. The embargo that was meant to weaken Israel became the spark that ignited a domestic aerospace revolution. This section exposes how betrayal created urgency, urgency created innovation, and innovation reshaped Israel's future in the skies. Before the embargo, Israel's air power depended heavily on the French Mirage 3. It was fast, deadly, and perfectly suited for Middle Eastern air combat. Israeli pilots mastered it, winning decisive victories in earlier conflicts. But when political wind shifted, France halted all deliveries without warning. Aircraft sitting in hangars were locked away. Israel realized a dangerous truth: dependence is vulnerability. Behind closed doors, Israeli engineers began studying every bolt, wire, and aerodynamic surface of the Mirage. The goal was no longer maintenance, it was replication. Using industrial ingenuity and intelligence-gathered data, Israel quietly began recreating the Mirage domestically. This effort laid the foundation for Israel aircraft industries to step into a role never intended for a small nation under pressure. What began as copying soon evolved into improving. Systems were adjusted for desert warfare. Maintenance was simplified. Performance was enhanced. The Mirage wasn't just rebranded, it was transformed. This phase marks Israel's first step from buyer to builder, from dependent ally to independent aerospace power. The result of that transformation was the Neshra, Israel's first domestically produced fighter jet. Outwardly similar to the Mirage, the Neshra was proof of concept. Israel could build combat aircraft under embargo. But the real breakthrough came next. Engineers replaced the original French engine with the more powerful American J-79, creating the Kfir. This was no longer imitation, it was evolution. The Kfir was faster, more durable, and better suited for Israel's combat environment. Avionics were upgraded. Weapons integration was optimized for Israeli tactics. The Kfir entered service as a symbol of technological independence. While other nations waited for approval, Israel built capability. The Kfir also became an export success, proving that embargo-borne technology could compete globally. This section shows how necessity forced Israel to leap forward technologically, turning constraints into advantages and redefining what a small nation could achieve in military aviation. Behind these aircraft was a quiet war of intelligence and innovation. Israeli engineers didn't just build jets, they built ecosystems. Testing facilities, supply chains, and design bureaus emerged almost overnight. Every challenge accelerated learning. Failures became data. Data became dominance. The embargo forced Israel to master metallurgy, aerodynamics, propulsion, and electronics simultaneously. This level of vertical integration is rare even among superpowers. More importantly, Israel gained something priceless: control. Control over upgrades, control over mission profiles, control over wartime readiness. No foreign veto could ground Israeli aircraft again. This autonomy reshaped Israeli military doctrine, emphasizing speed, adaptability, and technological surprise. The sky was no longer rented, it was owned. The ultimate ambition was the Lavi program. Unlike the Kfir, The Lavi was not based on any foreign airframe. It was designed from scratch as a next-generation multi-role fighter, fly-by-wire controls, advanced avionics, and modern composite materials placed it ahead of its time. The Lavi was meant to rival the world's best. Test flights proved its potential. Pilots praised its agility. Engineers saw a future of full independence. But politics returned. International pressure, economic strain, and alliance dynamics led to the program's cancellation. Yet the Lavi was not a failure. Its technologies lived on, feeding into drones, missiles, avionics, and Israel's integration of fifth-generation fighters. Sometimes, victory isn't flying, it's transferring knowledge. Embargoes are designed to limit power. In Israel's case, they multiplied it. Each restriction forced innovation. Each denial created capability. The aerospace industry became a national strategic asset. Israel no longer waited for approval, it anticipated conflict and prepared internally. This mindset spread beyond jets, influencing missile defense, unmanned systems, and electronic warfare. The embargo era forged a doctrine: never rely entirely on outsiders for survival. This philosophy still defines Israel's defense strategy today. Globally, Israel's journey changed how nations view military independence. Smaller states studied this model closely: build locally, adapt rapidly, integrate intelligence with engineering. Israel proved that size does not determine capability, a strategy does. Fighter jets became symbols, not just of power, but of resilience. From copied designs to original concepts, Israel carved its place among aerospace elites. Critics argue that reverse engineering blurs ethical lines. Supporters argue survival has no manual. This section explores that debate. When embargoes threaten national existence, do rules change? Israel's story forces uncomfortable questions about global arms politics and selective morality. It exposes how power structures decide who may defend themselves and who may not. Today, Israel operates some of the world's most advanced aircraft, integrated with locally developed systems. The legacy of Mirage, Kfir, and Lavi lives on in every mission flown. What began as desperation became dominance. The embargo failed. The lesson endured. Israel's fighter jet journey is not just historia, it's a warning. Cutting off a determined nation doesn't always weaken it. Sometimes, it forges something stronger. From betrayal came brilliance. From isolation came innovation. From embargo came air superiority. If you found this hidden history powerful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Share this story with anyone who believes power only comes from permission. More classified military intelligence stories are coming next.